Morning, Fractal Effects team. We're still tracking the market from the early session. So if you're joining us, please make sure you read the disclosure section in the footer of fractaleffects.com. Again, if you're joining us, please make sure you're doing a demo account, as this is for educational purposes only. We are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice. So we have we had a huge drop. Obviously, yesterday was a holiday. We had a triangle pattern from London, and we have a break in both sides of NAS. We only have a single break on US 500. There's the first presented fair value gap. It was never tapped. Here's the second one. The market came back and tapped it. Now we're looking for a double break. I want to see a double break, a retracement, and then we'll aim for London highs and this fair value gap up here. We do have a sell model. Usually for a sell model, we aim for the low-hanging fruit, which has already been hit. So if we get a double break past this point, we'll look to get up into at least the DSD. It's a little confusing here today. We have certain levels that are pushing in from yesterday. Anytime you have a holiday and there's not enough information, sometimes you'll see some of these zones drag across. Usually the purple zone. But that's where we're at today. Just waiting for a double break, retracement, and then a push up. There's the low-hanging fruit, this blue zone, but we could push right past it. So anytime you have a Monday, that's a holiday. Usually Tuesdays act like Monday, and then Wednesday acts like a Tuesday. We've already set the low. We've taken out this 4-hour liquidity. So even though we have a sell model and a downside expansion model, if we get that double break, we could be pushing up right into this fair value gap. So since NAS already has a break in both directions, we're looking for that same triangle pattern. Triangle pattern, remember, break, break, double break. That solidifies our directional bias, and it kind of gives us an area of the deepest retracement. So since this is the first presented fair value gap after this break, this is the deepest that it could most likely retrace to. This was the first break. So even if we get a double break, we could have a drop, and then this could be the biggest push up. And with the US 500, that was the first presented fair value gap. We do have this one. We did get reaction off of it, but I'm more interested in seeing if we get a double break here. Because if we get a double break here, this will most likely push up into the blue section as well, the blue zone. We did have a high impact news driver at 10 o'clock. Didn't really move the market much. Jump over the Forex calendar here. And then we do have Trump speaking later in the afternoon, 2 p.m., but we'll be out of here by then anyways. So ideally we were looking for an entry down here to take it into the blue zone. There's a blue zone right under this red. The red just represents a blue zone on the 15-minute time frame. I like to see it visually on here. The strategy can be used on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and the 15. So there's another fair value gap down here. I've already disrespected this one and tapped in here. So now this becomes an area of interest. Still looking for one of two things. Either a double break and then a retracement, or a retracement down here and a rejection. Same thing with US 500. That's the first presented fair value gap. I'd like to see it come all the way back down there and then lead to a double break. And if it violates it here and gives us a double break to the downside, and again, we'll look for a retracement back to the first presented fair value gap and then a drop. One or the other. Just patiently waiting and watching right now. As mentioned before, the strategy is designed to make sure that you have capital preservation first and foremost. That's our primary goal. Second is making money. So once again, downside expansion model, sell model, and we have a break in both directions. We have the divergence here because US 500 did not break up. What that tells me though is US 500, until it blows past this fair value gap, it still wants to go up. Where does it want to go? Right into this blue zone. That's the low-hanging fruit. When you have a sell model, you're only aiming for the low-hanging fruit, which is the first blue zone that you see in your path, which just happens to be in the DSD high here. So we have an interesting model today where the DSD high is below the DSD low. You want to proceed with caution there. That means it's extremely bearish. That's rare. That's the other reason we're only aiming for the low-hanging fruit. But I want to see the setup here. I want to see an immediate rebalancing candle, a 5M bullish candle, bullish fair value gap, and then right into the blue zone here. For NAS, since we do have a break on both directions, we want to see a double break, retracement, and an extension either into this blue zone or into the DSD low here. We'll see where we get that set up. We want to make sure you have a 1 to 3 risk to reward. Anything lower than that, it's not really worth it. Remember, today is Tuesday, but since yesterday was a holiday, the market usually treats the Tuesday after a long weekend like a Monday. So if you're new, make sure you write that down. Also, we had this huge drop overnight. So we're pushing past this fair value gap as well. Looks like we are heading towards that first presented fair value gap. US 500 might get there first. The other thing I like to do is I'd like to go on to the 15-minute time frame, and I usually like to mark out the order block. Remember, the order block is a 3-candle pattern. Low, lower low, higher low. Creating that tip at the bottom there. So that's where it is. I like to take that last candle, mark out its consequence encroachment, the midpoint, and that's as low as it could dip in. So I want to see the body's closing up here, but it could dip as low and touch here as far as wicking. Draw back down to the 5. So I'd like to see an immediate rebalancing candle right here, an engulfing candle. Expansion met with expansion. I want to see it hit this and completely reject engulfing this candle in this zone between this fair value gap and down here. That's the NYC opening gap, by the way, that red line right there. Another powerful rejection zone. Get rid of this fair value gap. So far, US 500 is the one telling the cleanest story. Break, manipulation move, 5M fair value gap. Let's see if we get that rejection here. Right into the blue zone actually gives us more than enough room as well. Let's see. Our entry will most likely be somewhere in here. And if we get an immediate rebalancing candle, that usually becomes our stop loss. So let's say it's around here somewhere. That'd be a nice setup, but like I said, let's see. Just gonna push this off to the side. The one thing this prevents is, I've mentioned this many times, it prevents FOMO, this strategy, just because we have specific markers, we have a specific checklist. Until all those things are checked off, we don't enter a position. So none of this is giving me the fear of missing out. We're close to an entry, but we're not there yet. So even if we push past this fair value gap and the NYC fair value gap, like I said, it could still rebalance within this zone between this red line and this fair value gap. That's fine. Just don't want to violate this too much. If there's too many candles closing down here, I'm not interested either. That could lead to a double break down here, in which case we would get a retracement in the opposite direction and then a drop. Remember, when you're looking at diverging pairs, only one of these has to fulfill the mission. So NAS had a break. We retraced all the way back to the blue zone without tapping a single fair value gap. Right there, the blue zone inside this red box. You can see it right there. So we retraced all the way back there. That's usually a sign, one of two things. It's going to come back down to the NYC fair value gap and the first presented fair value gap before it gives us a double break. Or it's going to push right through and give us a double break to the downside. We're just patiently waiting. I still like US 500 more. There's more room to grow. Market just stalled there. Still waiting. So we're getting some rejection here. Still want to see a 1M fair value gap created and tapped. .27 seconds left. I want to see if this fair value gap stays open and then gets tapped. This could be the push up. So we've hit it. Let's see if it respects it. If it breaks this low, then we're going to have to wait for a new one. 6 seconds. 4, we're still under. I want to see if it closes above here. So it closed below. You want to see a candle at least close above here. Twenty seconds. So we have our immediate rebalancing candle here. Let's see if this continues to push up. Getting some pullback here. NAS has not yet hit this first presented fair value gap, so I might want to take one more sweep down here. So it looks like NAS wants to take one more sweep down here. Let's see what US 500 wants to do, if it wants to follow. So it's already taken out these lows. That's no longer a setup. Remember, it could come all the way down to here, the midpoint consequence encroachment of the order block, which would give NAS room to tap this and then push them both up. Let's see. This is the last stronghold for a bullish argument. So now I'm actually focused on NAS to see if NAS bounces from here. One minute, 17 seconds left in this candle. I want to see if it closes back up into the range and leaves a wick. 41 seconds left. So this next candle, if it closes below this one, we're not interested in US 500. We've officially violated this zone. If it wicks and then it closes up here, it's an engulfing rebalancing candle, then this is still in play. 3 minute, 20 seconds left. Two minutes left. We're now below the NYC opening gap, but we're still above the consequence encroachment of the order block itself. 1 minute, 41 seconds. Again, if this candle closes down here, I'm not interested. Got a little over 15 minutes left in our stream. Let's see if we can't find a high probability trade setup. NAS has already taken this low. Digging deeper into this fair value gap. Let's see if US 500 follows. Pushing down even further. Remember, we cannot sell US 500 yet. This was a break to the downside, 5M fair value gap, order block. It could still turn around in here. The only way we can sell this is if we get a double break and then a retracement and then a drop, which should give us a bearish confirmation as well. As mentioned before, this is the last stronghold of the bullish to make a bullish argument. If it busts past here, then that's it. You'll get a double break and this thing is coming down. Remember, this is manipulation at its best. Psychology and reverse psychology happening at the same time. This is where they want you to think that the market's going to drop from. Let's take a point of control from high to low. You can imagine where people have majority of their orders. So we just took out everyone's order from here. This is the perfect area to turn this back around to go up. Same thing from here. You take the low to the high. And where's everybody's orders? Up here. Take out these lows, and then it could come back up to take out these highs. That's what we're hoping for. We're still hoping for a bullish push, but let's see. "12 minutes left in our stream. Let's see if we get some divergence here. If US 500 gives us a double break, excuse me, and NAS does not, that means NAS could push up from here, take out these highs, and then drop. Let's see if we get that immediate rebalance here. 4 minutes left. We only got a couple candles left in our session now. Trying to see where the next 4 hour. So we've already ripped past this 4 hour. Let's mark it out here though, just to see if it rejects off of here. And that's the 4 hour liquidity down here. Close to a double break, but let's see if it all rejects right here. So this is our last candle. Don't think we're going to get the setup that we were looking for. Just marking where the last 4 hour fair value gap was. Three minutes left in our stream. So this late in the game, I'm not really interested, but we'll come back, we'll take a look. So your homework is to take a look if we get that immediate rebalance here, and if this, which is the last stronghold for a bullish argument, if this sticks and the market pushed up to take out these highs and this point of control right here. This is where most people went short from. Or did we get that double break from US 500, retracement and drop? Two minutes, 45 seconds left. Please make sure you check us out at fractaleffects.com. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you know when we're live. We're live Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So see you guys again tomorrow. Two minutes, 20 seconds left. Let's see if we get any kind of rebalance or engulfing candle here. 1 minute 30 seconds left. Thirty seconds. So there was one trade setup that looked like it was setting up, but it failed. Now we're sitting down here. The market's just gesticulating, and we're past our window of opportunity. So we'll see you guys again tomorrow. And again, that's your homework. Come back, take a look, see if we had that immediate rebalance and a push, or a double break, retracement, and a drop. See you guys tomorrow.